Hello guys and welcome to my channel. This is the Q7F a 2025 model. This is the 55-inch size of that model, and you need to know that there are two versions of the Q7F. This one known as Q7FA and other one known as Q7F5, which is marketed in other countries. And the main differences about those two versions of the Q7F is that the Q7F5 has a slimmer and more elegant design, and it has almost twice the brightness compared to the Q7FA. Now, many people consider this Q7F being the replacement or improvement of the Q70D from 2024, but you need to understand that this is not the replacement of that model. In fact, I consider this Q7F more similar to the DU7000 from 2024. In fact, the design of this Q7FA and the amount of brightness make me think that this is the replacement of the DU7000 from 2024. Let's say this Q7FA is a DU7000 with a game bar and with the one remote with the button for voice commands. The problem is that in many countries it's marketed with a price similar to a mid-range Qled, and this, for me, it is not a Qled TV. No matter if Samsung promotes this TV as a Qled, I repeat, for me it's not a Qled TV. It doesn't have the amount of brightness of a Qled TV. The color saturation is not the results you will get on a Qled TV. It's more the results you will get on a crystal TV. Are not bad results in terms of colors. I think that the out-of-the-box colors accuracy is more than okay. The problem is the brightness and the price. And actually, if you go to ratings.com and you search for this model, they review the same version, the Q7FA, but in that case the 65-inch size. And the difference between these two sizes is that the amount of brightness is slightly higher but still lower than you will get on a Qled TV. I mean, I measured the amount of brightness of these 55-inch sizes, and the results I got are very low, and this is because always it happens that larger sizes of the same version of a TV will show higher amount of brightness. But as I said, the differences between the two sizes of this Q7FA are not huge. In general terms, as I said, this model has a very low amount of brightness. In fact, in ratings.com, they say that this is not a recommended TV. You shouldn't buy it. So, guess the reasons. First, extremely low amount of brightness. Second, it is marketed as a Qled TV, but it is not a Qled TV. Third, in many countries they think this is the improvement or replacement of the Q70D, but it is not. And maybe if in, I don't know, several weeks this TV lowers its price, in that case might be slightly recommended, but only if you like a lot the Samsung brand and if you have a very low budget, because always you can find better options from other brands and better in terms of specs. Now, talking about the image upscaling, you need to understand that Samsung this year is promoting a lot the artificial intelligence on its TVs, but it is not a big deal. It is something simply with a fancy name. I mean, TVs were already smart, they are smart TVs, and the intelligence or smartness of the TVs was already artificial. So the results are pretty good compared to other TVs, but when you compare a TV of the Samsung brand with artificial intelligence and other TV of the same Samsung brand without artificial intelligence, the results are the same, are pretty good compared to other TVs, but compared to the same TVs of the same brand, one with artificial intelligence and the other without artificial intelligence, as I said, the results are the same. I'm telling you this because I have been able to review and compare too many TVs until now. What about the dark scenes performance? Well, the fact that this TV has UVA panel and a low amount of brightness, those two things helps that the clouding effect is not so noticeable and that the black colors don't look too grayish. And let's say the level of details is more than okay for most users. What about the motion handling of this Q7FA? Well, the results are more than decent. I mean, this TV can lower a lot the judder effect in case you need it. The results are not perfect, but are more than okay for most people. And of course, the viewing angles are terrible because this TV has UVA panel, but this isn't normal. This is the usual you will get on a TV with UVA panel, which means vertical alignment pixel configuration. This makes you understand that this TV is not the best option when you want to watch, for example, a sports game, or for example, when playing video games with friends or relatives, when they have to sit around this screen because the colors for them will look too whitish or they will lose a lot of volume. What about the smart area? Well, the operating system is Tizen with One UI, the same customization layer that the smartphones of the same brand have, or at least is similar in some things. But in general terms, I have to say that the smoothness or fluency of the operating system is, let's say, average. Sometimes it responds relatively fast, but other times when you want to open an app, or for example when you want to access to the settings menu, as I'm showing you right now, it takes several seconds to get there, to get through this settings menu, and this is kind of annoying. But well, this is a, let's say, entry-level model or super entry-level model or super basic model from this 2025. You cannot expect that this TV has a super fast fluency of the operating system, but for many people, let's say, it's more than okay, especially if they are not used to a smart TV. This TV is compatible with the voice commands. I mean, it has the one remote with the button for the voice commands, but it is not compatible with what is known as hands-free voice control. And it is also good for you to know that this TV supports screen mirroring and also the function known as multi-view. In case you need to achieve this, you know you can achieve it on this TV. It is, for some users, pretty functional option. You can, for example, on the screen on the left, watch an application such as YouTube, and the screen on the right, for example, you can share the screen of your smartphone, or for example, you can connect a webcam or a laptop, or for example, something connected to an HDMI port. In terms of input, you must know this TV does not have the option for digital optical cable and does not support the 120Hz in 4K or other resolution. What about the gaming area? Well, you need to know that this TV does not support the 120Hz, and a funny thing is that it has this game bar, but it is not a mid-range model. Remember, it's an entry-level model, and this is kind of funny because in the past years and in this year, for example, the U8000F, which is an entry-level model by Samsung, does not have the game game bar, but has higher amount of brightness. I will compare them later in the future days. And this TV, which is supposed to be a Qled TV, but for me is not a Qled TV according to the results in terms of brightness and colors, it does support the game bar. I mean, I don't know what is Samsung doing this year, what is Samsung trying to do this year. And as you can see, this TV does not support variable refresh rate technologies. In this case, the language is in Spanish because it's my birth language, but this is a variable refresh rate option and it is not available for enabling. And here you can see the summary with the Xbox Series X. Remember, this TV does not support the 120 Hz, not in 4K, not in other resolutions. And remember that none of the current Samsung TVs support Dolby Vision nor Dolby Vision for gaming, and these are the three resolutions supported at least with the Xbox Series X. Talking about the game bar, well, it has of course the picture modes or game genders. It has auto, standard, RPG, among others. The auto picture mode is supposed to pick the best picture mode by using artificial intelligence according to the video game you're playing. This was available from 2024. I mean, the last year's models had this picture mode auto, and it was supposed to do the same throughout artificial intelligence. It has other options such as the virtual aim point you can make here appear on the screen, which can be useful for some gamers. You have the screen ratio option, but it's only available when you connect the TV to a PC. You will have also this minimap zoom option, which most of the time is not available, but for me is one of the most useless options you can get on this game bar. You also have the game motion plus with 2 levels, and it helps the motion to be better, allowing that the ghosting effect is not so noticeable. I mean, the ghosting effect in fact is not so noticeable on this TV despite of having UVA panel. And here in more settings you can modify some other things like a minimap auto detection, the game HDR you can enable it on basic or advanced in case you need more level of details, and you can set this option on or off in case you want the game bar or not. And if you want to modify other parameters, you can go here to picture, expert settings. You can modify brightness, sharpness, contrast. Also this option known as HDR tone mapping. You can enable it on active if you want more level of details. Sometimes on static the results are slightly better in some occasions with some video games. You can modify the contrast enhancer, also shadow details, among other things, as you can see. Also you can modify the color tone, in this case if you want a warmer result or a cooler result or simply a standard result. And in this case the Color Booster Pro option with the game mode enabled is not available for some reason. What about the input lag of this TV? Well, the results are more than okay in theory, and in practice I think that almost every user can be more than pleased with this TV in this area. And talking about the general results in this gaming area of this TV, about the picture quality, the level of details, the ghosting effect, for most gamers the results are more than okay, keeping into account this TV is an entry-level model, but Samsung wants to make us understand that this TV is a QLED, which means a kind of mid-range model, but it is not. Remember, it is an entry-level model. It's a super basic model. More than okay for most users, but the problem is the price, which at least right now is too expensive, at least in many countries. Now, what about the audio sound system of this TV? Well, let's say is okay, it's decent. It's not super powerful, but at least it's slightly sharp. I mean, I have to highlight that, because even if Samsung speakers audio systems are not the most powerful right now on the market, at least in terms of sharpness are one of the best. So in order to finish this video, if you ask me if I recommend this TV TV? Well, the answer will be no. Remember, ratings.com think as the same. They do not recommend this TV. I mean, I do not recommend not even the other version, the Q7F5, which is better but not as good as the Q70D from last year. You will have other options better of this same brand but from last year, for example 2024 or 2023, with the same price or even lower price, or better options from other brands. So please let me know at the comment section down below what you think about this TV. Will you buy it, yes or no, and why? Remember, you can support my channel by making some purchases throughout the links I put on the description and on the first comment, and also hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, enable the notifications bell, and thanks for watching. Until next time.